people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. A welcome addition to the upcoming Babic versus Rozenski Bridgerweight title fight card set to go down in Poland. As expected and as specified, Laura Grzyb's upcoming fight for the EBU title opposite the ring Italy zone Maria Cecchi has been added to the show. Set to go down April 22nd, the same day as the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight. It's important to note that this is a Knockout Boxing Promotions show. Knockout Boxing Promotions based out of Poland that beat out Matchroom for the rights to this fight. We've talked about that. And on that card, you're going to see a couple of Sky Sports and boxers, but you're also going to see Laura Grzyb. Sports a professional record of 8 wins, no losses, and no draws with 3 knockouts. To Maria Cecchi, who sports a professional record of 8 wins with 1 loss, no draws, 2 knockouts. And I've talked about the fight. I like Laura Grzyb to win the fight. Laura Grzyb is cut from a different cloth than Maria Cecchi, a late starter in the sport who ain't got much of an amateur background and doesn't exhibit the form and the understanding of distance and range that Laura Grzyb does. You know, Maria, she's
very rough around the edges, still very raw.
She suffered her first professional loss in May of last year opposite the ring Spain's own Mary Romero in what was a difficult fight to watch. She has since rebounded off that loss late last year in December. I don't like her chances against Laura.
I don't.
Laura, who saw action three times last year. Last year was a productive year for the unbeaten up-and-comer from out of Poland. She beat 2 unbeaten fighters last year.
3 overall.
Maria Cecchi will be the next, as stated. Laura Grzyb is cut from a different cloth. This is a very athletic and elusive fighter, a sharpshooter that has the look of a boxer-puncher that leans a little bit more towards the boxing than the punching. Laura Grzyb not being that big a puncher. She ain't got the heaviest hands. She ain't no knockout merchant, but she does have the look of a boxer-puncher as she's quite fluid inside and outside the pocket. She's not limited to staying on the perimeter of the ring, behind her jab, behind straight punches. Laura Grzyb is quite capable mid-range to inside.
Looks like a boxer puncher.
But a boxer puncher that does lean a little bit more towards the boxing than the punching. A bit more finesse than ferocity from the unbeaten up-and-comer that hails out of Poland.
She was up there campaigning as a featherweight for a while. Featherweight, that's where Amandia Serrano campaigns as that division's undisputed champion. Laura Grzyb has since made a move down in weight, down to super bantamweight. That's 122 pounds.
There's a lot of good fighters down there at 122 pounds and a lot of formidable champions. That's where Ellie Scottney is going to be challenging Shernika Johnson for the IBF title. That's where unbeaten Ramla Ali campaigns. That's where Mayerlin Rivas reigns as that division's WBA champion. Yemi Mercado, she's got the WBC.
Deborah Dionysus, she's got the WBO.
Shernika Johnson, who I just mentioned, she's got the IBF. Laura Grzyb means to make a splash and be ranked among them, climb up those ranks. This fight is for the EBU title, the blue belt.
Navy blue.
Regional title, but still a significant one. More significant than some others. And I think Laura Grzyb's going to win the fight. What she does after that is the question. How soon can we expect Laura Grzyb to make a splash on the world stage, in the world title picture? How soon does she want to challenge what are 4 champions, one of 4 champions at this weight?
We know Ellie Scottney's about to. She's about to fight Shernika Johnson, former champion Sigaline Lafarve of La France.
She's about to challenge Deborah Dionysius for her old WBO title after the WBO saw fit to strip her due to her suffering an injury.
There's a lot of action happening at 122 pounds, a lot of unbeaten up-and-comers and a lot of talent, proliferation of talent overall at or around these weights.
Laura Grzyb means to be ranked among them.
I think what you're going to see in the Maria Cecchi fight is that Laura has a better understanding of her range than Maria.
Laura's going to play at the angles, pecking away at Maria Cecchi, 1 and 2 punches at a time.
Using the ring.
Fighting on the balls of her feet, staying on the move, getting shots in there, as Maria Cecchi's quite crude and rough around the edges.
Nowhere near as coordinated as Laura Grzyb.
Neither puncher is all that big a puncher, so there's not much chance that this fight ends in a knockout. Likely goes to the scorecards. When it does, I think Laura Grzyb, given her boxing ability and the fact that, you know what? Even if this turns out to be a close fight, not that I think it will, Laura's got home field advantage and she is the house fighter. She's got a lot of things working for her in this thing.
Not even saying she needs to rob Maria Cecchi. I think she can beat her. I think she can beat her legitimately.
You know, just in the event that the rounds are closer than originally anticipated, that Maria Cecchi spoils and tries to make things scrappy, dirty boxing, she's willing to resort to that. We saw that in the Mary Romero fight. In the event these things happen, it's Laura Grzyb that's got home field advantage, so she'll get consideration from the judges. I like Laura on points.
Laura Grzyb on points is the logical way to go.
In the men's lightweight division,
It's official. Devin Haney will be taking on Vasyl Lomachenko, former champion Vasyl Lomachenko, in defense of his undisputed crown on May 20th at a price point of $59.99 to the consumer. That's a lot less than what you normally pay to see a pay-per-view.
It's less than what Showtime is charging for Davis versus Garcia.
Promoter Top Rank Inc. announced on Tuesday that the price point for the 3-fight Haney-Lomachenko telecast is $59.99. Haney, the undefeated, undisputed lightweight champion, will defend his IBF, WBA, WBC, WBO 135-pound crown against Vasyl Lomachenko on May 20th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. There is one fewer fight than usual on the Haney-Lomachenko pay-per-view show, but it is $25 cheaper than the cost of the Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia card 4 weeks earlier. The suggested retail price for the 4-fight Showtime pay-per-view event headlined by Davis and Garcia on April 22nd is $84.99. $10 more than consumers paid for the Showtime pay-per-view card Saturday night.
that's right.
Bob Arum cares about me and you. He cares about the consumer, and he knows that these are difficult times. The market is inundated with box office fight after box office fight. He's doing us a favor.
You should thank him.
Initially, Bob didn't want to build this as a pay-per-view, but in order to satisfy the financial demands of the fighters, to make the fight happen, it's got to be a pay-per-view.
But it's worth it.
ESPN Plus will be the exclusive digital provider of the Haney vs. Lomachenko pay-per-view show, which will require a 1-month subscription to the network's $9.99 a month streaming service if fans want to stream it. However, unlike the Terrence Crawford vs. Sean Porter card in November of 2021, Haney vs. Lomachenko can also be purchased through traditional cable and satellite providers for $59.99.
This is a better fight than Davis versus Garcia.
You heard what the fuck I said. This is a better fight than Davis versus Garcia. No catch weight, no rehydration clause, no JV antics.
Kind of kid stuff. This is grown man smoke.
This is for all the marbles, all the belts at 135 pounds, and neither Gervonta Davis or Ryan Garcia have established themselves at that weight the same way Devin Haney has. He is that division's undisputed champion, facing its former Lineal and Ring Magazine unified champion in Vasyl Lomachenko. You're not going to tell me Ryan Garcia's body of work at this weight is better than Loma's, or Devin's for that matter.
You're not going to convince me that he's a more accomplished, more high-level fighter than they are. Based on what? Your fucking eye test?
Because it's not his resume, his body of work, and Gervonta Davis.
What's his lightweight resume look like?
A journeyman in Gamboa, a retard in Rolly Romero, and a super featherweight in Hector Garcia.
Oh, don't forget a nobody in Isaac Cruz. A nobody that ain't beat nobody. He didn't beat nobody before the Davis fight, didn't beat nobody after that.
Guy's been turning down fights left and right ever since he fought Gervonta Davis approximately 2 fights ago or whatever it was. Turned down a Ryan Garcia fight, turned down a Michelle Rivera fight back when Michelle Rivera was an unbeaten fighter. He turned down a Shakur Stevenson fight.
Walked away from an order by way of the WBC to take on Shakur Stevenson. He didn't want to do it.
And this is what Gervonta Davis's lightweight resume is comprised of. A journeyman in Gamboa, a retard in Rolly, a super featherweight in Hector Garcia, and a nobody in Isaac Cruz.
That's it.
Neither Gervonta Davis or Ryan Garcia have worked as hard as both Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko to establish themselves as a force at this weight.
Well, technically, Ryan and Javante's fight isn't even at this weight. It's at a catch weight of 136. Technically, that's super lightweight.
Anything above 135 is super lightweight. Anything above, and that's where Ryan and Javante's fight is taking place. I know you're not going to tell me that that fight between those two guys crowns the best super lightweight in the world.
It doesn't.
And don't misunderstand me. I'm going to purchase the Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when it comes to value for money, this is a more high-level fight than that fight is. Coincidentally, it's coming to us at a reduced price. We ain't got to pay to see Devin and Loma swap punches. What we have to pay to see Ryan and Gervonta do the same thing.
And why? Why? Because Ryan Garcia's got a bunch of Instagram followers?
Explain it. Make it make sense. Why does one fight cost $60 and the other one costs roughly $85?
Assuming you're even paying for it, because a lot of these very opinionated quote-unquote boxing fans don't seem to pay for anything, so it's no sweat off of their backs. But to the paying public, the portion of it that matters.
You do have to wonder what you're getting for your money because you're the one spending it. All those free stream guys, doesn't make a difference to them. They steal everything.
Don't jump online thinking anybody gives a fuck about their opinions on boxing.
This fight between Vasyl Lomachenko and Devin Haney effectively crowns the best lightweight in the world. The best lightweight so far, until further notice. No catch weights, no rehydration clauses. All the titles, all the alphabet titles are on the line. Both Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko have proven to be better fighters, better at least than Ryan Garcia.
A weight-drained Ryan Garcia.
I'm supposed to believe that a guy whose best win is Luke Campbell 3 or 4 years ago, a guy who's got to boil down to 136 and has a 10-pound rehydration clause.
He's supposed to be a more formidable opponent than Devin Haney, the lightweight division's undisputed champion. He's supposed to be a more formidable opponent than Vasyl Lomachenko.
So can that bullshit and stick it up your ass, you bozos.
Ridiculous.
And this fight is set to go down the same day as Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron. Katie Taylor's bid to become a two-weight undisputed champion opposite the Ring of Fighter, who's wanted to share the ring with her for a very long time.
Big day in boxing.
We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches. Finally, in men's heavyweight news, per tweet from Michael Benson, Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois negotiations are underway. I'm told by Frank Warren they sent back medical confirmation as requested by the WBA to prove Dubois has recovered from his injury and is fit to be the next mandatory for Usyk's WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight world titles. What happens to the undisputed title fight now?
It's dead in the water.
This was the window of opportunity to do it, given that Alexander Usyk already has mandatory challengers in the queue.
3 of them.
Daniel Dubois, by way of the WBA, Joe Joyce, by way of the WBO, and Filip Hrgovic, by way of the IBF.
This was the window of opportunity to do the undisputed title fight.
A missed opportunity. Frank Warren has proposed that they could still try to make Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk in July and pay Daniel Dubois to step aside as mandatory if it's something Usyk's team would be open to considering.
And he's saying this while negotiations are underway for the Dubois fight after Tyson Fury wasted Team Usyk's time, our time.
What that balding fat ass always does. He wastes everybody's time, then when things fall apart, he hangs it on everybody else.
Blames everybody else.
And his fans just go with it. It's always someone else's fault. It's always someone else, not Tyson Fury.
According to them. According to Frank Warren.
Do you know what killed this? Social media. All the pissing around on social media. If it had been left to people to do it in a grown-up way, there wouldn't have been a problem.
Tyson Fury's the one that took it to social media, Frank.
I've been speaking to the lawyers today, and Usyk's people are talking about rematch clauses and all that bollocks. Here's one to up the antes. How about there is no fucking rematch clause for both of us? Let's up the antes completely. Never worry about what's in the future and how many more dollars you can get after you've been defeated. Worry about the fight, April 29th. No rematch clause.
5 or 6 weeks out from the fight, this guy's trying to change the original terms of engagement. That's why Tim Bradley blames him for the fight's collapse.
That's why Johnny Nelson does the same.
The whole reason you moved the fight from Saudi over to the UK was supposedly because the Saudis wouldn't be able to get the stadium up on time for an April 29th fight date, just so that when you get to the UK...
That's the story they gave everybody.
Fury's still altering deal points only 5 or 6 weeks out from the proposed fight date.
He fucked up the fight.
According to Johnny Nelson, On a personal opinion, I think it's down to greed why this fight hasn't happened. Tyson Fury got almost everything he wanted, and he just pushed it too far and priced himself out of the fight. I personally think Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk, but by the sounds of how negotiations went, it sounds like Tyson Fury didn't believe he could beat him, because he priced himself out of unifying the heavyweight world titles. You can't tell me it's about legacy and it's not about money, when money is the reason this fight fell to pieces. Usyk said, yes, you can have that, you can have that. No.
Now you've gone too far.
I lay the blame firmly on Tyson Fury, no matter what. And I don't agree with everything Johnny Nelson says, but I have to agree with him there. And I think most of the boxing community at large that saw how these negotiations played out.
They blame Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury fanboys aside, most of the boxing community at large, the people in the industry and the spectators outside of it, the spectators in what is this spectator sport, most of them blame Fury.
Anybody and everybody with a functioning brain cell blames Tyson Fury. If you don't,
If you're still making excuses for this guy, you're no boxing fan.
you're not.
Between how Tyson Fury handled these negotiations and the fact that his own trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart, said in plain English, he hasn't been training Tyson Fury for this fight, approximately 5 to 6 weeks out from an April 29th fight date.
You haven't even started training for this fight.
Start training with Tyson Fury. And,
You know what? Everybody thought Sugar was here, but everybody forgot that I'm training Lawrence Coley. And his fight is in Manchester.
So were you planning to leave on Sunday or Monday?
And it's only an hour. My ticket is leaving, my flight ticket leaves March the 28th.
Not only was Sugar Hill Stewart not there to help Tyson Fury prepare for an Alexander Usyk fight, he already scheduled his flight back to America.
He wasn't there to help him prepare, and he wasn't about to.
Undisputed is dead in the water at this point. Now, Alexander Usyk will be taking care of one of 3 mandatory challengers that he has in the queue. The first being Daniel Dubois, who went life or death with little-known Kevin Lorena.
A cruiserweight that moved up in weight, a southpaw like Usyk's a southpaw, but this guy's no Usyk. And if that's what you had to go through with that guy, getting dropped, what was it, 2-3 times?
Usyk should be able to make it past Daniel Dubois, who's coming off of an ACL injury he suffered in that Kevin Lorena fight. That's a leg injury of some kind, right? And Usyk,
Right.
he's got the best set of legs in this division.
Right.
He can scramble Daniel Dubois' eggs, shake and bake him, cause some more injury to that recuperating ACL.
I think he can beat him, but
It's little consolation, because he still has 2 other mandatory challengers in the queue. It's not like he gets to move right back into negotiations with Tyson Fury. Not that negotiations with Tyson Fury...
they never go smoothly. They never do. He always ends up wasting people's time.
That's what he does. That's what he always does. And now you have Eddie Hearn entertaining the possibility that Anthony Joshua might fight this guy in the near future, provided he makes it past Jermaine Franklin this weekend. I don't think that Eddie should give him the out. I don't think they should give Tyson Fury the satisfaction after botching up the undisputed title fight.
Don't give him the option. Don't give him the alternative. Make him sweat. Make him wait.
You're Mr. Big in the Britches. You think you're too good for undisputed.
Too big.
You're one of these boxers that thinks you're too big for boxing, when boxing is the only reason people even know who you are.
If not for that, they wouldn't bother with you.
Near as I can tell, you're not doing your job. You don't care about undisputed? Drop the title. Retire.
Go away.
Get the fuck out of here.